Hey there, welcome back to Real Deep Stuff with Kristi and
Michelle.
Yay! We're still alive in Spain, literally wandering around. We are currently very comfortable in our next hotel room, and it's awesome because it has floor-to-ceiling windows, and we've been watching this amazing thunderstorm march through.
Hail and all.
Hail and all. Watching it hit the cars, hoping it doesn't damage them. Lightning, everything. We were out in it. Not bad, though, like in the first part.
Yeah, thankfully we stayed in the store for a little bit, then decided to walk on back, made it back, and then
the heavens broke open.
Yes.
We were briskly walking in the break, and that was nice. But
I found it funny as we were walking. Did you notice how some people, because I was walking in front of you, they were not budging?
No, we were all trying to huddle under the little awnings of stores, and the people walking toward us, they were not giving up their awning space.
Nope.
It was like a 2-foot wide margin of dry, and they're like, nope. I guess when you're the minority, you just have to just deal with it. But it's all Gucci. So we are just now chilling before dinner does not start till 7:30 p.m. So we thought this would be a good time to do it before we take our dinner and showers, because then after that our brains shut off. So we're going to catch up. So we released day 4, and now we're going to talk about yesterday and today, which are days 5 and 6. So if we start talking about yesterday, let's run down our stats. So the Camino walk was
8.6.
Okay, but by the time we were all said and done, we did 12.4 miles once we're done, like, walking around and everything. And we each had over
30,000.
Yeah, that's like it might be a new record.
It might be.
Over 30,000 steps yesterday. So that's pretty good. The walk was nice in the morning.
Yes, we saw the cattle crossing the road.
Oh, that was in that little town.
Yeah.
Yeah. We came on across another little, like, stone village. It looked like medieval.
Where we thought we were getting cheesecake.
Yeah, it was very disappointing. I think it is cheesecake, but not what we're used to. So, but it was a cool little vibe. It was like a little, it reminded me of an Irish pub. It was stone, like big stone walls on the inside and rafters, and very cozy and nice, and that was really fun. And we just came out, and it's literally the town where, the little village where people do all their things, and we look up and there's cows coming through it. That's fun.
It is.
Yeah. We've gotten to see it. Was that our third cow crossing? I think it was our third one.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And the shepherdesses, you noticed that.
Yeah. They're women.
So many of them are women. Girl power. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, so we're walking on. Made it to the last part where the sun fully came out.
It came out early yesterday. And we got started a little after 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, because we didn't wear jackets very long.
No.
And then it got hot.
It was hot and humid, and it was a beat down for some of it. Yeah, a little more incline-y than we thought.
Yes.
But we did it.
We did it.
And coming up on the town, we're just like, there's the town, I see rooftops. And had to cross a little bridge into it. We took a picture of it.
Oh, yes.
She's looking at me like, what bridge? And so, we crossed in and used handy-dandy Google Maps to get us to our albergue. Well, I guess it was a hotel.
No, yesterday was a nice hotel.
That was very nice. You want to tell them about it?
We each had, like, our own room.
Yes. Awesome.
And, yes, it was so nice. There was AC. Mm-hmm. There was a hairdryer.
Mm-hmm. Dual controlled AC. Each its own for each bedroom.
Yeah, but only one worked.
Well, that's true. I feel bad about that. I took the little room, like what would be like the child's room or the guest room.
Which you chose.
I did choose because you've been so accommodating with my back that I was like, I wanted you to have like the big room with the ensuite bathroom and all that, and then your air didn't work.
But I was glad yours did.
I'm happy that you're glad. Because yesterday was part of, so we talked about day 3 was like the hardest day so far because it was just so many, it was uphill all the way, just one big fat incline all the way. So that was probably like physically the hardest, but yesterday was the worst day for me. It was one where I was a bit teary off and on throughout the day. My back had it. It had absolutely had it. It was not going to tolerate any more of this nonsense. And I mean, from the time I woke up, I thought, uh-oh, this isn't good. I just kept thinking, taking my Motrin, using this amazing gel that this pharmacist gave me here, and my turmeric and all this stuff. I just kept thinking it'll quiet down. I didn't hurt it. I just aggravated an old injury, and it tweaked. And I just kept expecting every day that I'd wake up feeling with a little better, and instead it was feeling worse. And that whole day, like every step yesterday, was exhausting because I had to have my body in a certain position that it didn't feel like my back was jarring. So I was like full on mental capacity, full on physical capacity to like think about every step because the terrain is so unpredictable. Mm-hmm. It's big rocks, little rocks, gravel, mudslides, flat. It's everything. And you can't take that for granted. You could really can't take your eyes off of where you're walking. Very uneven. Like you can tell where the rain washes through and washes out parts of the road and stuff. So all of that. I've been walking with one walking stick and just to balance because as my son says, he calls me trippy. I think it's a compliment. But I don't think he's mean. He's meaning I'm trippy, physically trippy. And so I thought, well, I'll just get, at the very beginning, I got a walking stick to kind of balance me. Just to make sure, because I tend to take pictures while I walk, or I talk while I walk, and that makes me not look where I'm going, and that doesn't end well. So I decided when we stopped at a resting point at a little cafe, they were selling walking sticks, and they had the exact one that I already owned. And I thought, this is perfect, because I'll have a set that match. So I got 2, and it does take a little ding on the pride, but I look around, I'm like, all ages of people use these in all levels of fitness.
Oh, they do.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. You have younger ones, older ones. Yeah.
It's not like the decrepit people need walking sticks. Really, truly, like super athletic men, women, really of all ages use them.
Except me.
You're not walking with them, so, brownie points for you. You don't do 5 things at once when you walk like I do. So I bought the extra one, and it actually really has made a big difference. It really does. So I'm happy I did that. But I knew at our second break, we stopped to go to the bathroom, and I had a really hard time getting comfortable in the plastic chair outside at the tables. And I thought, this isn't really going well. So we didn't really talk a lot yesterday on the walk at all. Mm-mm. I just needed to go inside myself. And I listened to 3 dab days, and so I got all caught up. And then I listened to another podcast called Get Your Hope Up by Kristi Wright. And that was a very good episode. It was called What to Do When You're Waiting on God, which was very timely because we'd just been praying that my back would be better. And listened to some Christian music, and it was very good. So I just hours of listening to things to keep my mind off my back. So I kind of needed, I told Michelle, I kind of needed one good big cry because I'd been holding it in. I didn't want to show it. I didn't want to be that complainer. I didn't want to be the high maintenance person. And I just felt like my body was holding in all of that emotion. And I didn't have one big cry. I just kind of kind of let it seep out a few times when I was walking behind you so you wouldn't see.
Aww.
And I don't want to be the Debbie Downer on this thing, so when we stopped at the bathroom break, I texted my husband Bruce, and I just kind of let it all out. I was just like, this is the hardest thing I've ever put my back through when it's been tweaked, and every single step is agony, and I'm trying so hard and all this stuff. So that was, I guess you could say, when I let it all out, but it just was in a text. So he wrote back later, because of the time difference. We're 6 hours apart. He's behind. And so when he got up, he's like, hey, sweetheart, I just got up and saw your text. You really need to get to a doctor. And I hated hearing those words because I knew he was right. So as God would have it, we went from little towns to, we came into Malede. Is that how you say it here or there?
No clue.
Malede?
Could be.
Okay, so we got there, and it's like a big town, which meant they'd actually have, big health care. And so we got into the hotel, which the one with the 2 bedrooms, super nice. I am so cold. Are you cold?
Yeah.
Well, you have a blanket on. If you want to turn off the air conditioning, it's closer to her than me. So, thank you. I'm shivering, which is rare.
Oh, I turned it down.
So anyway, so we got our room key, blah, 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 and got our bags up there, and I immediately went back down to the desk, and I'm like, okay, I need to find a doctor. So the reception lady was very nice, but really didn't speak any English. But thankfully, she was trying to tell me basically that I needed an appointment with a doctor in town. And I was like, oh, great. Because it was already 3:30 in the afternoon. So this guy that works there too, she called him over and he started talking. And he's fully English. He's British speaking. I could have just reached over and hugged him. And I'm like, oh, yes. I need to get my back looked at. So he's like, here's how it is over here. Spanish local people go to the doctor with an appointment, but all you travelers go to the hospital. It's called the medical center. And
it almost kind of seemed like an urgent care. Maybe one side was the hospital, you think?
Yeah. Kind of an emergency room? The new
emergency
ones.
care, type.
Yeah, those little new ones that are popping up everywhere, that are somewhere between urgent care and a full hospital. They're
oh yeah,
kind of in between, where they have maybe you could do X-rays and stuff. So, so he said, "I'll call." He goes, "You need to take a taxi. It's too far for you to walk with your back." So we took a taxi. He called that, and we got there, and the doors wouldn't open, and we're trying to read the Spanish signage about we understood the time, but we didn't know what the time meant. Turns out those are the time the doors are closed for siesta. So you found a door around the corner. So I walked in there, tried and then we were told that these people speak English and they didn't. So I'm trying to talk to the front lady, and I guess I pointed to my back and stuff, and so she told me, no, you have to go back around to the door where we just were, and that siesta's over. So we went back to there. I'm just going into detail because this is not my first rodeo with international hospital care. And, it's just good information to know if this is ever you. So go back over there, and there's no one there. There's no one at the desk or anything. I'm like, okay. So I just stand there and I see these 2 doctor-looking people in white coats come out, and I just kind of put my hands up in the air I don't know what to do. So this guy came out that looked would you say he's a doctor?
He looked like it.
Had the little pen and paper in his pocket and a long white coat and everything. No English. So we worked through Google Translate, and I was pointing to my lower back. I didn't tell you this. But in the phone, on his phone, he says, "You can't urinate?" I was like, no. I wrote, "Hurt my lower back, need medicine." He's like, oh, okay. So I didn't understand how you have to take a digital number, like a paper number. And I kind of got that point from this guy ahead of me, but I didn't know how the number thing worked. And I think I almost broke their machine because first I just pushed the button that looked like paper, and so blank paper came out, and then I was like, okay, that wasn't it. I pushed another button, and the whole lid like went flying up in the air, and I'm like, all right, I probably shouldn't break this thing. And so evidently, if you live here, it's wild. It's like you put your insurance card in or something like that, and it spits out a number like you're getting turkey at the deli. It was kind of cool.
It is.
So he helped me and gave my passport, blah, blah, blah. And so we just sat there like we're at the deli waiting for my number to come up. And after a while it did. We had masks on. We had to wear masks, which we both brought. And I go back there, and thankfully I got someone who, Spanish is her first language, but English was her second language. So it was fair. I was like, Inglés? And she's like, yes. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. It was the wildest moment. That was very, I don't know. It's just every country does their medicine different. And she asked me what was wrong. And then she asked me she basically said, I said, this has happened before. I've tweaked it before. And she goes, so what do you do for it? And I said, I keep a picture of anything, natural supplements, any prescription, I keep a picture of it in a file on my phone. So if I'm ever somewhere, I can just show it. And so I showed her the picture the last time I got this methylprednisolone step-down pack filled. And I'm like, this is what I use to fix it. And so she said, okay, we'll go with that. And I'm like, okay. I'm kind of diagnosing myself here. And she says, she goes, okay, lay down. I need to explore you. I was like, what? I guess we say exam and they say explore. I was like, okay. So I laid down on the gurney. And so she basically just lifted up each leg and said, how high can it go till you feel the pain? And when I lifted up my left leg, all the change fell out of my pocket all over the hospital floor, which to know me with my OCD issues, I'm like, nope, don't need that money anymore. But the coins are dollars here, so I couldn't really lose dollars. So we just had to leave that for a minute. So yeah, she said, what are your medication allergies? And I was like, ooh, I can pull up under my patient portal my profile. And I did, and I was able to give her like my official doctor-made, list of all my allergies, and because I have quite a few to medication, and so she put all that in, and then she said, okay, I'm going to give you a shot of, and I said, no, I can't do normal prednisone. I can't do that. I can do only the methyl. So she's like, yes, this is the one I'm giving you, but I'm giving it to you in a shot. And she was talking very fast, and it was all happening very fast. And just then this dude walks in from a door, and I was like, and he's holding a shot in his hand. And I'm like, who are you? She's like, he's going to give you the shot. Kind of like, don't you know? And I'm like, no, I don't know. I've never gone to a hospital in Spain. I've never been to Spain before. And so, how would you describe him? You saw him.
Yeah, I thought he looks like someone that works out on the road.
It's like construction looking
yes.
clothes. Yeah. Yeah. And he came in holding the shot, and no gloves, and I dropped my drawers because they had to get to like the big glute muscle. And I was expecting, an alcohol swab and gloves, but no and no. Instead, he slaps me on the butt.
Well, you said he was going to give it on the wrong side.
Yes, he went for the right side, and I was like, no, it's on the left side. And he kind of rolled his eyes like I was being high maintenance. I'm like, I'm sorry. This is the side that, maybe in the long term it doesn't matter, but the left side was on fire. And I'm like, let's do it there. So next thing you know, he slaps me. And I understand why. It's so you don't feel the shot. And then he gives me the shot, and I'm thinking, okay, because when I was in Guyana and I needed medical attention from death-defying food poisoning, They didn't use gloves. They didn't do alcohol, any of that either. And I'm just like, wow, we just do it very differently. And so the shot was over, and I sat down, and I looked at her, and I'm like, can you tell me again what just happened? And so she prints out the paper in Spanish. She's like, and now she's getting irritated with me. I understand that I ask a lot of questions. It's part of the autism. I get it. I ask a lot of questions. I was trying to make my questions concise. So I was trying to ask them, and she goes, would you just listen to me? Just listen to me. And I was like, yes, see. Yes, see. You talk, I listen. Fine, I'll be quiet. And she's like, I can't print this in English. It's only in Spanish. And I said, I just want to know what you just gave me, because I'm not quite sure. I know that it was the methylprednisolone, but what? Like, how many milligrams was it? I'm very sensitive to medicine. And so she says it's 60 milligrams. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never had that much steroid in my body at any time in my life. And I thought, well, can't take it out. So anyway, she printed me this paper, and then she kept telling me I had to go get this prescription filled. And I looked at the word, and even my translate phone wouldn't translate it. And I asked her, I'm like, is this acetaminophen? Tylenol? And she's looking at me like, what? I said, you know what? Never mind. Because I thought, I'll deal with the pharmacist. And that was that. So and then I said, my money over there? Because all the money had fallen. And she goes, okay, you're in there for lower back pain. You've been having to pick up everything that's fallen for me. Like big stuff, like the walking stick or whatever. These are coins on the floor that are tiny and flat on the floor. And I said, what about my coins? And she goes, oh yeah, that's your money. You should get it. Just was like, okay. So I go over there. It looked like an SNL skit, because I'm trying to move behind the gurney into the bowels of the room. I'm like, where's Michelle? There's coins all over the floor. And no one wants to help me pick them up. And I can't bend over.
So what'd you do?
So I'm like doing a split with my legs. So I could...
Was she watching you?
Yes. She just sat at her desk the whole time. And I'm really struggling. So I'm practically doing a split. So I'm bending my legs and not my back. And I'm picking them up like one by one. And I get them all. And I finally find one like in the very corner with OCD Kristi doesn't touch. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I got that one too. And I'm like, no help over here. Thanks. I'm good. And we just left. I gave him my insurance card and my passport, but then we just left. And so we had to, so then we tried to call a taxi. I tried to call.
Yeah.
No English. I kept saying, English? Nope. So I went back inside to the guy that originally, the doctor guy, that was begrudgingly helping me because I was going to break their machine. He called a taxi for us.
And they get here fast.
Like zippity doodah. Like, yeah, she was right here. So then you had found a pharmacy. And she was like, no.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
They only have creams and stuff. Like, basically, it's like a drugstore.
Not prescriptions.
Not prescription, yeah. So you told her, like, where the hotel was and where could we go that actually has, like, medicine. So then we went there, and the lady just waited. She's like, do you want me just to wait? Well, broken English, but I got that. And I was like, yes, please just wait. I don't want to go through calling a taxi again because we can't do it over the phone. So went in there, talked to a really nice pharmacist, and I was like, is this acetaminophen? And she said, yes. I said, so Tylenol? She said, yeah. And I said, why wouldn't I want to just keep doing ibuprofen? Because it's an anti-inflammatory. And she said, yes. So basically I didn't have to buy anything there because I brought a boatload of medicine with me just in case. Everything but the steroid pack, which I'll never do again. I'll never forget to pack that. So it was good. But it was good to, like, confirm with her, you know, like, what the plan was. And So she's, you know, she and I talked about the switching between the Tylenol and the Motrin and all that. So, and you sat in the taxi waiting for me.
I didn't want it to leave.
I appreciate that. I was in a world of hurt. So then we started looking online, like how long does it take for a steroid shot to take effect? And out of 6 different references, we got 6 different answers.
Yeah.
Everything from a couple of hours to 4 days. So I thought, well, okay. So that was interesting. And then we went, the doctor did say, like, okay, that's what I'm going to tell myself. She goes, I don't want you to go lay down. You need to still walk around, partly, I think, to get the steroid shot moving in your body, but also to keep your back from, like, seizing up. And it's the same thing I've been told by American doctors, don't do nothing, keep walking. She's like, and I told her, I said, well, tomorrow, which was today, she's like, tomorrow is 8 points. Well, actually, rounded down. I told her 8 miles, and she's like, too much. You need to take a rest day or 2. And I'm like, I can't, because we're on this travel service that our luggage goes on without us. So we'd have to, I'd have to take a taxi to the next place. So I said, well, would I hurt my back if I keep walking? And she said, no, you're not going to hurt it, but it's also not going to get, better. So I told Michelle that, and I said, listen, I'm willing to just, see how the rest of the afternoon goes, see how we feel in the morning. And if I said, would you be okay if we just go like really, really slow and take breaks? And you, once again, were incredibly accommodating. And we're like, sure. So I kind of figured if we went at a pace like you and I were just walking through a mall or something, then how is that different if we're on a trail versus walking around the town, if I'm still going the same speed? And so before we talk about today, we went to dinner. Oh, you want to tell about dinner? Oh, no,
we did laundry.
Yeah, you want to talk about laundromat?
Well, you were there most of the time.
Because I just sit there with my dumb back because it was done.
So I walked around, and yeah, I mean, the laundromat was fast for me, but
it was hot in there.
It was hot, and you couldn't open the door because the garbage was next to it.
Like a big garbage dump that smelled really bad. And then, therefore, there were tons of flies in the laundromat. But the machines were very clean, like really clean. I was so happy about that. And there were different sizes machines. They're like Goldilocks washers, small, medium, and large. And all that was open was medium and large. So that's what you and I each took one. Yeah, and then we met some Americans in there. Met a guy from New York City. Met a guy from Chicago. The guy from Chicago took off his shoes and socks to show me his amazing foot bandages that you and I went and bought after seeing that. And I'm wearing one of them today.
Oh, you are?
I am, on my toe. Not a blister, it's just a long story. So, met them. They were, okay. So the guy from New York City, he was a pill. Like, he was funny. The guy from Chicago was someone like you feel like your next door neighbor. And then this lady's in there, and she's retired. And, Michelle, you weren't in here for this part. She came walking in with wet clothes and put them right in the dryer. And I'm thinking,
oh, you told me about that.
Maybe she just lives here and, she just washed them at home and their dryer's broken. But I'm like, she looks American. So once she was all in there and you were walking around, and because I was glad to babysit the laundry to sit down for a little bit. Because, the doctor told me to walk. So walking up a lot farther than we thought. Everybody just kept saying, it's just up the street. We're like, where the heck is up the street? But anyway, so once you were out walking and it was just she and I in there, Chicago and New York had already left, she starts, we start talking about where are you from, what are you doing here, the whole thing. And she totally offers up this information. And she starts giggling. She goes, I'm retired. She said, she starts giggling like a little girl, and I have no idea what she's about to tell me. She goes, I washed my clothes in the hotel bidet. I about fell off the bench. I was like, you You did what? She's like, yeah, I was trying to just save time and money because our hotel, she's in the same hotel. Our hotel for a multi-story hotel had one washer, one dryer. Mm-hmm. That's why we left.
And there was a line.
Yes, and people were sitting on it, like squatting on it. And I was like, what? She's like, I washed them in the bidet, but afterwards I realized they weren't going to dry, so I came here to dry them. I'm like, mental note, don't use dryer number 4.
Did I use that one?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
You were spared. And I just told her, I was laughing, and I said, you know they have washers here, too. And she's like, I know. That's when she's like, I was just trying to save some money and time, and I'm thinking it costs the same, lady. But then I said, I'm sorry, but that's just a whole new level of desperate. She was laughing about the whole thing, but she washed her whole load of clothes in the bidet.
They're not clean.
No. Think about what a bidet does. She goes, well, at least it wasn't the toilet. I'm like, whatever works. Helps you sleep at night, lady. That was really, really funny. That she amused me. And so we got our laundry, and then you and I were the bag ladies. Because the laundromat was farther away, much farther from the hotel than we thought. We had to, but we're so far away, we're going to like go ahead and see what's around us. So we
needed water.
Oh my gosh, the water. You want to tell them about the water?
What about it?
You were on the water hunt.
Oh, yeah. I was just trying to find, like, cold water. So there was no cold water, so we just had to buy the big bottled water.
And you got dehydrated and got a headache.
I did.
And I was just in there with my tongue smacking on the roof of my mouth, like, water. It was bad. Like, we realized at the end of a long, sunny day, we're going to need to bring more water with us. And all this had happened without any water. The moving into the hotel, the whole Centro Medical, which is the taxi guy couldn't understand. I kept saying medical center because that's what the guy at the hotel told me. And then I went Centro Medical. He's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, okay, reverse the words. How was that so different? But whatever. So, anyway, we got our water. So then we have so you want to tell about our pin tradition? Our little pins?
Oh, yeah. Each town we've been to from the start in Saria, you get a pin, and it's really only the ones that have a town. Like, when there's just nothing around, you don't get one. But, yeah, so we get a pin with each town, and you put it on our backpack.
And I don't think either one of us are super collecty people, but this has been really fun to do. It's like a little reward, you know, when we get somewhere where it's a little reward. And so we have 5 pins on our pack now, which is really, really cool. So we had to go into this store that's like a souvenir-y kind of shop. I told Michelle, I'm like, this lady sees us walking in with, they are 13-gallon kitchen trash bags with our laundry in them. And I was like, it's going to look like we're going to shoplift. So I cinched mine up and, you know, we carried them under our arms and made it look very obvious that we're not going to steal anything because we look pretty sketch. So, yeah, we got our pen and had our water, had our clean and dry clothes. So we went back to the hotel and put all that away. And you were so funny. You were so sweet. You were like, can I treat you to a Spanish dinner tonight? Because dinner didn't start till 7:30 and it was like 3:30 when all of this hoopla with my back whole thing began. And I said, well, why don't we just kind of get through everything we're trying to do and just kind of see what time it is. And so we got the medical stuff, my steroid shot in the butt, and the laundry done, and our pen, and our stamp for the little passport dealio, and the water, and we got back up, and we put it all away. And we looked down at 7:30, and I was like, well, why don't we just do the hotel one that we paid for?
And it was the best meal of the whole trip so far.
Yes, please tell them about our dinner.
It had seasoning.
Yay!
And there wasn't fries.
No fries. Not a fry to be found.
No. But do you remember when we were out walking, going to the laundromat, we saw the big truck, it had all the potatoes in the back.
It had thousands of potatoes in it. And you looked at me. Remember what you said?
No.
You were like, there's our french fries. So yeah, this was chicken and rice.
Yes.
It was really good.
And your salad.
Oh,
I had peaches.
It was my salad was so
And it was
good.
the one day I said I just wanted lettuce.
You finally perfected how to ask in Spanish just for lettuce. They bring out my salad that had mozzarella and peaches and balsamic, and you're just like, womp womp. Because you normally pick everything off, but this one, I guess, would have been better. So, more bread, and it was really good. And then I got myself all excited about dessert. We were in Spain, and they had I can't talk. Tres leches cake. And I asked the guy if it was good. He's like, I'm like, bueno? He's like, yeah. So we got that, and what'd you think?
Well, it tasted like yellow cake with some creamy stuff underneath.
Yeah, kind of like pudding.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't at all what we were thinking. And maybe maybe in Spain that's how they do it. Maybe so. But I was just thinking what we're used to in the States with like the 3 milk and all that. But my steroid shot kicked in. I mean, I'm not going to deny dessert if it's already paid for and given to me. And I really wanted to eat it. It wasn't super probably yummy, but like I was going to still eat it. But I kept getting high glucose alarms because even though I didn't even eat the rice, I picked out, it was really good, like fall off the bone chicken. It was very, very good. And the salad was very harmless. My sugar went with my sensor. If you guys listen to the mental health, and I'm so tired, I can't even think of the name of the episode. Blood sugar and mental health. You know why I wear a sensor. I'm not diabetic. Anyway, it went off and it was like high. It was like 258 and rising. And I was like, oh. So knowing that, I just from the chicken and salad and like a little piece of bread, I said, okay. And we both looked at each other and you're like, it's probably the shot. I'm like, yeah, because I know that raises blood sugar. So afterwards, you were so kind to walk with me.
It was cold.
It was. It got windy and cold. We're like, what the heck? So we made it a short walk, and I said, I'll just walk up and down the stairs if I have to. So, because I get a nice big drop in the sugar after I walk, or after I eat if I walk. So yeah, we did that. We walked, and then went to bed.
Yep.
So yesterday was what we're calling the immersion experience, because all the other towns that we land in for the night, we walk around kind of like, a traveler, looking in, window shopping, all that kind of thing, buying our little pins for our backpacks.
Checking out the grocery stores.
Yeah, that's fun to see what they have. And yesterday was going to the hospital and doing laundry. So we kind of felt like we were, one of the locals. Just kind of doing that, but it was amazingly helpful. The shot was, and very thankful. I just didn't want to take the time out of our trip to do it, because in America, when you go to an urgent care or ER, you can just write off the next 4 hours of your life, at least, right?
And this one was so clean. It
was so clean. And so well done. I just would have liked gloves and alcohol swab, but beggars can't be choosers. And yeah, it was fast. Once they saw me, the whole thing was pretty fast. So I'm glad that I took the time to just do it. I knew in the back of my mind I needed to, but...
And it was worth it for how you felt today.
Mm-hmm. It is. So we will talk more about that. We'll make a day 6. So that was day 5 in the books. Anything else you want to add to it?
No, that covers it.
Yeah, we saw some pretty cool. Saw some horses and some sheep yesterday. It was a much more interesting walk. than the day before. Yeah, it was good. Okay, so that is the Medico Centro. And how do you say laundry in Spanish? You said it better. Lavanderia. Immersion experience on top of 8.6/12.4 miles. We did it.
We did it.
We did it. All right. Peace out. Day 6 coming up.
Adios.
Buenas noches.